Dawn, thank you so much for that very lovely introduction. I can't say enough kind words about you. You've been a great mentor for me, and I'm privileged to know you. Thank you for your leadership this past year. It is a privilege to be able to speak with all of you this evening and to serve as your incoming RJOS president. I am excited to share with you the very simple concept of she for she, promoting and supporting each other so that we can all succeed in orthopedics. For those of you who might not know Shalane Flanagan, she is an American long distance runner, having won the New York City Marathon in 2017 with a time of 2 hours and 26 minutes. And although her athletic prowess is remarkable in and of itself, her positive role modeling, mentorship, and sponsorship of other women is what makes her one of my heroines. She truly promotes rising talent around her, which is super rare in elite competitive sports. In the early 2000s, she brought together professional female distance runners in Portland to train together, pushing one another to achieve collective successes. Of this group, 11 women made it to the Olympics. Now, Shalane Flanagan remains extraordinarily competitive and aims to win, but she is team-oriented. She describes how elevating other women is not done for purely altruistic reasons, and explains how it's not as lonely at the top if there are others there with her. She states, "I thoroughly enjoy working with other women. It makes me a better athlete and person. It allows me to have more passion toward my training and racing. When we achieve great things on our own, it doesn't feel nearly as special." She states, "You serve as a rocket booster for the careers of women who work alongside you while catapulting forward yourself." My goal for the address tonight is to promote this idea of serving as rocket boosters for other women in orthopedics while simultaneously succeeding ourselves. I would like to take a moment to recognize a few women pioneers who were truly alone at the time, but who have enabled us to have the careers we have today. Without these women, we would not be where we are. However, my hope for our future is that we don't have to go this road alone. My vision is that we can all work together to elevate the entire field. A rising tide lifts all boats. Dr. James Barry, who was born in Ireland as Miranda Stewart, was educated at the prestigious Edinburgh Medical School in Scotland, graduating in 1812 at the age of 17. She joined the British Army as a surgeon during the Napoleonic Wars and performed the first successful cesarean section. Only at the time of death, Dr. Barry was discovered to be a woman. She was the first female medical doctor in Britain, 50 years before women were allowed in medicine. We are all well versed with Elizabeth Blackwell, the first female physician in the US. She was rejected by more than 20 medical schools and was finally admitted to Geneva Medical College. She was actually admitted as a joke by the men in the student body, who never thought she'd either enroll or actually succeed. Nonetheless, she graduated in 1849 with a gold medal, but could not obtain a residency position anywhere and ended up serving as an obstetrical nurse in France. She returned to the US and opened the New York Infirmary for Women and Children, and then helped to open the Women's Medical College of New York, which she oversaw from 1862 to 1899. She described, "It's not easy to be a pioneer, but oh, it is fascinating. I would not trade one moment, even the worst moment, for all the riches in the world." Dr. Mary Edwards Walker was a captivating individual, American feminist, abolitionist, prohibitionist, alleged spy, prisoner of war, and first US female surgeon. She joined her husband, Albert Miller, in practice, but the practice failed. The presumed reasons for failure included her refusal to change her last name and the simple fact that she was a woman. In 1863, she became the first female surgeon in the US Army, and shortly thereafter received the Congressional Medal of Honor for her work as an Army surgeon. Dr. Jenny Smiley Robertson was the first female surgeon in Canada and the first surgeon to perform a major gynecological surgery in a private home. She helped to establish the Women's College Hospital in Toronto, which she chaired from 1912 to 1942. She married her childhood sweetheart at the ripe old age of 70. She said that I first met the man I was to ultimately marry many years later in 1898 while I was teaching. At that time, I was planning for medicine, not marriage, and I didn't think I could have both. Clearly, work-life balance was also problematic more than 100 years ago. And although we still haven't completely figured out this balancing act, I don't think any of us are waiting until age 70 to marry our childhood sweethearts. Katherine Anderson also had an incredibly uphill battle. She was denied surgical internship at her own medical school at Harvard. When she applied for a surgical residency in 1964, she was told that women were too weak to be surgeons. The following year, she moved to DC and pursued a general surgical residency at Georgetown University Hospital. She was only assigned 7 cases over a span of 2 years and ultimately left, believing that gender discrimination was affecting her training. In the community hospitals that she went on to train in, she was able to participate in more than 700 cases over the next 12 months. She has since become the first woman elected president of the American College of Surgeons and has been honored with a lifetime fellowship in England's Royal College of Surgeons for her service to the field of surgery. These are only a few examples of awe-inspiring women pioneers. There are many more. Each of these female trailblazers achieved great feats against all odds. They paved the road for us. And they did it alone, without mentorship, sponsorship, or support. My goal is that moving forward, we do not have to face such uphill battles, or at least that we do not have to face them alone. My dream is that we succeed together with mentorship, sponsorship, collaboration, and support. Until 1970, women never made up more than 6% of any medical school class. The ACS admitted 1 woman in 1913, and then only a handful of women until 1975, making up less than 2% of the classes. In 1970, more women applied to medical school. This was due to an increase in overall positions, a rise of the women's movement, growing numbers of female baby boomers, ratification of the Equal Opportunity Act, among other reasons. We are making progress. The AAMC now boasts equal men and women medical students. 1/3 of medical faculty are women. However, the average medical school has very few full professors that are women. We know that career advancement for female faculty in academic health centers is slower than that of their male peers. There still remains sexism in peer review and disparities in salary, promotion, tenure, and leadership opportunities. Nonetheless, women have increasingly and successfully infiltrated the walls of academia. In the 2014 AAMC Women in Academic Medicine report, there were 16 women chairs of surgery in the US and Canada. 16% of medical school deans were female, with 1/3 of senior associate and vice deans and 1/4 division chiefs as women leaders. 15% of department chairs were women. Although progress has been made, there's still more work to be done. How are we doing in orthopedics? We remain the least diverse specialty among all medical and surgical specialties, with less than 1% of female medical graduates pursuing an orthopedic surgery residency program. Only 9% of orthopedic faculty are female. There are a handful of women at the top. I really tried to do my research and hope I have captured all of the women in chair positions, but apologize if I missed anyone. It would certainly be an error of omission, not commission. Evelina Berger, Lisa Latanza, Lisa Galitz, and Valerie Lewis are all chair women. Lori Carroll is chair of pediatric orthopedics at Children's Hospital Colorado, and Susan Bukata is the newly appointed chair of UCSD. Michelle Caird and April Armstrong are both interim chairs of large departments. There are several remarkable women in program director positions, helping to educate and guide our next generation of leaders. Dr. Christy Weber was the first president of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, the largest orthopedic organization in the United States. Internationally, as you can see, there are several women leading their large organizations, including Serena Hugh as incoming AOA president in the United States. We have had amazing women serve as presidents of Ruth Jackson. I have had the great pleasure in the past few years of working with the RJOS board of directors, who have done an incredible job of increasing our reach to trainees, to young faculty, to other societies, and overall expanding our network. I feel proud to be a part of the outreach to other organizations and building our bridge of communities. We are better connected with the Women of Orthopedic Facebook community, the J. Robert Gladden Orthopedic Society, the Foot and Ankle Society, the Perry Initiative, Nth Dimensions, Black Women Orthopedic Surgeons, AUKUS Women of Arthroplasty, the Diversity Advisory Board, AAOS Now, the American Association of Latino Orthopedic Surgeons, BOSS-MD, and AMWA. These collaborations are critical to provide women of all walks of life the opportunities to succeed in this magnificent specialty. So, what can we do to continue to move this ball forward? I propose that we emulate Shalane Flanagan and work together to boost each other. I believe there are 4 areas for us to embrace. First, mentorship is crucial, not only at the organizational level, but also at the individual level. We must mentor and be mentored. Each one of us has a role to play to bring the next generation into the folds. Mentorship has been shown time and time again to positively influence career choice, enhance job satisfaction, and enhance career successes. Mentorship can occur at all levels, including as a resident, fellow, and junior faculty. It's amazing the positive effect female residents can have on female medical students to even consider the field. Modeling is essential. Young females need to see other females succeeding and thriving in orthopedics at all levels, including the leadership level. Secondly, we have an obligation to sponsor one another, which is separate from mentorship. In Claudette Lejam's RJOS presidential address, she asserted, select her, elect her, promote her. When we are in a position to choose others for an opportunity, select her for visiting professors, symposia faculty, ICL panelists, committee positions, chair roles, division chief positions, and director roles. Sheryl Sandberg has shown that women with sponsors are more likely to ask for stretch assignments and pay increases than women without sponsors. We have all heard the statistics where women will wait until they have 100% of the qualifications listed for a job opportunity, whereas men routinely apply when they meet only 50 to 60% of the required qualifications. As Elizabeth Blackwell said, none of us can know what we are capable of until we are tested. Let's push each other to strive for those stretch positions. We also need to collaborate with one another on new ideas, articles, projects, Perry initiatives, Nth Dimensions activities, textbooks, and more. I highlight Rachel Frank, who invited all female authors to write 26 chapters of a sports medicine textbook. This is a great example of she for she. And most importantly, we must support one another through training, through the good times, and through the bad times. We should go out of our way to bring a medical student into our operating room to experience this great specialty. We should schedule and participate in Women's Night Out activities. If you are not already a member, you should join Women of Orthopedics Facebook group, which is now 1,500 strong. And we need to speak up against bullying, harassment, and discrimination. We can no longer be passive bystanders and must provide support and demonstrate compassion when we are faced with these issues. We must advocate for ourselves and for each other against misconduct and wrongdoings. As women, we still do sometimes have more to prove. To this day, I have this framed hand-stitched quotation that my mother made for me in 1979 that is attributed to Charlotte Whitten, a Canadian feminist and the first mayor of a major city in Canada in 1951. Although modified through the years, the quotation states, "Whatever women do, they must do twice as well as men to be thought half as good." Luckily, this is not difficult. Although there is some humor to this statement, there is also some truth to it. We do need to knock it out of the park when asked to serve on committees, to serve as symposia or ICL faculty, or when selected for leadership positions. We need to make sure when we are chosen for these positions that we demonstrate our prowess. We should not hesitate to reach out to one another for assistance, to receive edits of our work, to look at prior talks, to show up for each other's presentations. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. Let's help each other be twice as good. Let's please work together so that we don't see photographs like this anymore. We cannot succeed if we are not in the room. We must be in the room where it happens. To return to Shalane Flanagan's concept, let's serve as rocket boosters for each other, pushing each other to be the best that we can, helping one another find our work-life balance, challenging each other to aim for those stretch positions, choosing one another for key opportunities, and applauding each other when we reach our individual goals. If the women pioneers could achieve what they did on their own, just imagine what we can achieve together. Sheryl Sandberg contends, in the future, there will be no female leaders. There will just be leaders. And I hope her prediction comes true in my lifetime. In the meantime, there are still female leaders, and each and every one of you listening to this address is such a leader. Together, we each will succeed. Together, we all will go further. Together, we will enhance our entire field for trainees, for patients, for colleagues. Together, we will move mountains. I can't wait to move mountains with each and every one of you. Thank you.